Have you ever considered that some of the most common foods in your kitchen could be harmful or even deadly? It's a chilling thought, isn't it? The place we go to nourish ourselves and our loved ones, harboring potential hazards beneath the comforting aromas of home-cooked meals. Let's get this straight, we're not talking about the occasional indulgence in junk food or the fat and sugar that can sneak into our diets. No, we're discussing something a bit more insidious. We're talking about everyday foods that, when consumed in excess or prepared improperly, can pose significant health risks. Who would have thought? Let's take a moment to introduce the usual suspects, shall we? Raw almonds, rhubarb leaves, nutmeg, cherry pits, and raw kidney beans. Perhaps some of these are staples in your pantry or fridge. Perhaps you're already raising an eyebrow or two, wondering how these seemingly innocent foods made the list. Well, buckle up because we're about to take a deep dive into the hidden dangers lurking in our kitchens. First up, raw almonds. A healthy snack, right? Packed with protein, fiber, and healthy fats. But there's a reason why the almonds we find in stores are typically roasted, blanched, or otherwise heat-treated. Next, rhubarb leaves. We're all familiar with the tart and tangy rhubarb stalks used in pies and jams, but what about the leaves? Why are they usually discarded? Then we have nutmeg, a spice loved for its warm, sweet flavor. But did you know that consuming it in large amounts can lead to some pretty nasty side effects? Moving on to cherry pits. Yes, those hard little stones in the middle of your sweet, juicy cherries. What could they possibly do? And finally, raw kidney beans. They're a staple in many hearty, comforting meals, but they're not as innocent as they seem. So let's dive into this intriguing topic and discover the hidden dangers lurking in our kitchens. Starting our list with number 5, we have raw almonds. A beloved snack worldwide, almonds have a little-known secret. These crunchy delights, when consumed raw, carry a potentially harmful substance, cyanide. Now, before you throw out your nutty snacks in panic, let's delve a little deeper. The cyanide content in raw almonds is not typically a threat unless consumed in large quantities. However, the danger does exist, and it's essential to be aware of it. Here's the good news, though. The almonds you usually find in your local grocery stores are safe. These almonds undergo a heat treatment process that effectively eliminates the cyanide, making them secure for your consumption. So the next time you reach for that bag of almonds, remember this little tidbit. Enjoy your almonds, but do so wisely. After all, they're packed full of health benefits, but only when properly prepared. Remember, moderation and proper preparation are key when it comes to enjoying almonds. Coming up next on our list at number 4, we have rhubarb leaves. Now, you might be thinking, rhubarb, that's in my favorite pie. But hold on, we're talking about the leaves here, not the delightfully tart stems we all love in a pie or jam. The leaves of the rhubarb plant are a different story altogether. Rhubarb leaves contain a substance called oxalic acid. In small amounts, it's relatively harmless. But if you consume a large amount, say if you decided to make a salad out of rhubarb leaves, it can cause serious problems. Oxalic acid can lead to the formation of kidney stones, and consuming a lot of it might even result in kidney failure. So while the stems of the rhubarb plant are a tasty treat, the leaves are decidedly not. Remember, it's the stems that are safe to eat, not the leaves. When it comes to rhubarb, stick to the stems and leave the leaves alone. At number 3, we have a spice that's a favorite in many kitchens, nutmeg. You might know nutmeg as that warm, sweet spice that gives your pumpkin pie its distinctive flavor. But did you know that it also contains a compound that can be quite dangerous if consumed in large amounts? The compound we're talking about is myristicin. Myristicin is a natural organic compound found in the essential oil of nutmeg. It's what gives nutmeg its aromatic scent and flavor. But when consumed in large amounts, myristicin can have some pretty serious side effects. So, what exactly happens when you consume too much myristicin? Well, the symptoms can be quite severe. They can range from nausea, dry mouth and dizziness to hallucinations, seizures, and even death in extreme cases. This condition is known as nutmeg poisoning, or myristicin poisoning, to be more precise. Now, you might be wondering, just how much nutmeg would you need to consume to experience these effects? The answer is not as simple as you might think. It varies from person to person and depends on factors like body weight and individual tolerance. But generally speaking, consuming more than 2 tablespoons of nutmeg in a short period of time could potentially lead to myristicin poisoning. That said, it's important to remember that the risk of nutmeg poisoning is quite low for most people. After all, nutmeg is typically used in small amounts in cooking and baking. It's highly unlikely that you'd accidentally consume enough nutmeg to experience myristicin poisoning. However, it's always a good idea to be aware of the potential risks associated with the foods we consume. And when it comes to nutmeg, moderation is definitely key. So next time you're whipping up a batch of your famous pumpkin pie, remember, a little nutmeg goes a long way. A little nutmeg can add flavor to your dishes, but a lot of it can lead to serious health problems. Moving closer to the top of our list, at number 2, we have cherry pits. Yes, you heard that right. Those tiny, seemingly harmless seeds nestled inside the deliciously sweet cherries can in fact pose a health risk. Now, before you start panicking and swearing off cherries forever, let's dive into the science of it. Cherry pits, like apple seeds and apricot kernels, contain a natural substance called amygdalin. When these seeds are intact, amygdalin is perfectly safe. However, the game changes when the seed is damaged or crushed. You see, when amygdalin is broken down, it produces hydrogen cyanide, a potent and deadly poison. Cyanide interrupts the body's ability to use oxygen, leading to a host of serious health issues and, in extreme cases, can be fatal. But don't worry, you would need to consume a substantial amount of crushed cherry pits to reach a lethal dose. So how does this happen? Well, when you bite into a cherry, you generally swallow the pit whole, and it passes through your digestive system intact. But if you were to accidentally chew or crush the pit, that's when the amygdalin would be released. And voila, you've got cyanide in your system. With that said, there's no need to fear every cherry you see. The risk of cyanide poisoning from cherry pits is incredibly low. Besides, cherries are packed with antioxidants, fiber, and vitamin C, making them a healthy addition to your diet. Just remember to spit out the pits. In fact, this information serves more as a cautionary note, especially for those who may enjoy experimenting with homemade cherry recipes. If you're making a cherry pie or a cherry jam, make sure you've taken out all the pits before you start cooking. Enjoy cherries, but remember to spit out the pits. And now, the most dangerous food on our list, raw kidney beans. You might be surprised to learn that these humble, seemingly innocent beans pack quite a punch. Raw kidney beans, the ones you might find in a bag at your local grocery store, contain a natural toxin known as phytohemagglutinin. This is not your typical food ingredient. It's a compound that can wreak havoc on your health if consumed in its raw or undercooked form. Phytohemagglutinin is a lectin, a type of protein that can bind to the cells in your body and cause various health issues. In the case of raw kidney beans, just a handful of these little red devils can lead to symptoms like severe nausea, abdominal pain, and vomiting. In extreme cases, it can even lead to death. The good news is that you can easily neutralize this toxin. The key is proper preparation and cooking. So how do you transform these potential health hazards into a delicious and safe-to-eat ingredient? It's simple. Soak and then boil them. Before you cook kidney beans, they should be soaked in water for at least 5 hours, though overnight is best. This process begins to break down the toxin and makes the beans easier to digest. But don't stop there. After soaking, they need to be boiled for at least 10 minutes. It's this high-heat cooking that fully neutralizes the phytohemagglutinin, rendering the beans safe to consume. It's worth noting that slow cookers, which operate at lower temperatures, might not get hot enough to destroy the toxin. So it's always best to boil your beans first before adding them to slow cooker recipes. As with everything in life, knowledge is power. Now that you're aware of the potential dangers of raw kidney beans, you can take the necessary steps to prepare them safely. Remember, proper soaking and cooking are your tickets to enjoying kidney beans without the unwanted side effects. So when it comes to kidney beans, always ensure they are cooked thoroughly. So there you have it, the 5 common foods that could potentially be harmful or even deadly. We've explored the hidden dangers lurking in your kitchen: raw kidney beans, cherry pits, nutmeg, rhubarb leaves, and raw almonds. Each of these foods, while delicious and nutritious when prepared correctly, can pose serious health risks if consumed improperly. Always remember, the key to enjoying these foods safely is proper preparation and moderation. Stay safe and eat smart. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Take care.